Hey ghouls and gals, welcome back to my channel. My name is Taylor and today's video is going to be my Summerween TBR. Summerween is one of my absolute most favorite readathons here on YouTube. It was created by Gabby over on Gabby Reads. I will have her information in the description box down below, so go give her a follow if you aren't following her already. This is such a fun readathon that focuses on summer horror, summer thrillers, reading some great spooky books to kind of kickstart the summer season, the summer horror season. And then of course, in a lot of ways, this readathon, Summerween, really feels like a kickoff to the countdown to spooky season, to October, to Halloween season. So I am super excited for this readathon. I have a lot of books that I'm going to talk about here. I'm a mood reader, so I am not going to get to all of these in the week that is allotted, but I have options. I have options to cover the prompts, so let's go ahead and talk about these books. So this year, the Summerween Readathon goes from July 5th to July the 12th, and there are 5 prompt challenges. One of them is read a book in the dark or at night. Another challenge is read a horror or a thriller book. All of the books on my TBR are either horrors or thrillers. 3 is read a book with a sky on the cover. 4 is read a book you've owned for more than a year. And 5 is read a novella, manga, or listen to a spooky audiobook. So my first category of hopefuls for this TBR are books that are horror or thriller books. They don't really fit any of the other prompts. I mean, I could read them at night. I could pick up the audiobook of these books, but these are just summery horror books that I would love to get to. So the first one is Heartwood by Amity Gage. And this one, I believe, is more of a mystery thriller than a horror, but it takes place in the forest and it is about a missing persons case. It takes place in Maine and it's about a search and rescue team who is fighting against time to save a very experienced hiker that went missing in the woods. So that's book number 1. Next summer horror book on the TBR is Heads Will Roll by Josh Winning. This takes place in New York. We're following a disgraced influencer. I think she's an influencer or a celebrity who has been canceled, needs to rehab her image, so she goes to this camp that is isolated, no phones, no technology, designed for people in the public eye to get away from the public eye and just give some time to rehab their image. And summer slashery fun starts. This cover just screams Summerween to me, so I think this could be a really good pick for the readathon. And then last but not least, in this general summer horror section, we have the third and final book in the Indian Lake trilogy by Stephen Graham Jones. This one is The Angel of Indian Lake, and it's kind of become a Summerween tradition. I think I either read the first one, My Heart is a Chainsaw, for Summerween, or just like right after Summerween last year, and then the middle book actually takes place in the winter, so I read that for Winterween, and now I want to conclude the trilogy for Summerween. This is a great slasher series. It's all about main character Jade Daniels, who loves slasher movies, loves the 70s, the 80s, VHS classic horror, and she thinks that her town is going to become the next site for a slasher event, and she has to try and convince everyone around her that this is actually happening. It's not something that happens in the movies. This series is such a love letter to slashers and to horror, and I loved the first 2 books in this series, and I'm really excited and sad, bittersweet, to conclude Jade's saga, but I definitely want to get to this book during the Summerween readathon. This one could be a great book to pick for the audiobook prompt because the second book's audiobook had such a star-studded cast, and I think this one also has a multi-cast narration, so that could be fun to listen to. The next category of books I have on my TBR would all work for the prompt read a book with a sky on the cover. Going into this readathon and trying to figure out what I wanted to read, I thought this one might be the hardest to complete, but I have found 3 books that fit the prompt challenge pretty nicely. So the first one is Wilderness Reform by Matt and Harrison Query. This one also takes place at a summer camp. It's a summer camp for reformed teens, like to reform troubled teens. Our main character gets sent there by a court order and is unwillingly put in this camping expedition. I think this one takes place in Montana, and this one's just has the vibes of a fun, outdoorsy summer summery horror time, and it definitely has a night sky on the cover, just as well as one of the most, I feel like, Summerweenish covers of the bunch. I mean, all of these really scream Summerween, that's why they're on the TBR, but something about this cover with the campfire and the skyline and then the skull up top there, I feel like this could check off a lot of boxes for this Summerween readathon. Next up, we have A Mask of Flies by Matthew Lyons. Full disclosure, this one, the sky on the cover, it's inside the silhouette of this person. It looks a little bit snowy, so potentially we might not get to this one. I might try a chapter to see when this book takes place, and if it does take place in the winter, we're not going to read it for Summerween. Let me know if you've read this one down below. Does this give Summerween vibes? But this book is about a person who does a bank heist, goes horribly wrong, and she and I think her accomplice take a captive, a hostage with them to this cabin, and they're trying to figure out what to do next, how to get out of this situation, and creepy things start happening at this cabin. So like I said, this one's been on my TBR for a little bit now, and I would like to get to it. It is a little bit on the thicker side for a readathon, and this cover does look like it has some snowy mountains on there, so maybe we'll get to it, maybe we won't. If it has summer cabin vibes, absolutely. And then another book that has a sky on the cover is Under the Surface by Diana Urban. This is a YA horror, and it's about the Paris catacombs. A group of teens go into the catacombs and I think they get lost down there. As Above, So Below is one of my favorite found footage horror movies, and this one just seems like it's such a creepy premise. I actually learned about this book because I was specifically looking for books that took place in like catacombs, or more specifically the Paris catacombs, because I think the concept of those catacombs and just getting lost down there is absolutely horrific. So this has got a sky on the cover, and because it is YA, just with the conventions of YA versus adult, this one probably would be more of a faster paced read that would be perfect for a readathon. And then the last book on my TBR does fit multiple prompts. It has a sky on the cover, but I also may use it for the prompt, read a book that you've owned for more than a year. This is a book that I've owned on audio for more than a year because I got it as an ALC through Libro.fm. A lot of the physical books, I don't have that many physical books that I have owned. I think I only have one that I've owned for more than a year, and that's Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, and I am not reading that for a readathon. It's like 800, 900 pages, so we're not doing that. So I was coming up blank for this prompt, but then I remembered audiobooks can totally count, and I have had the audiobook of Middle of the Night by Riley Sager for over a year now, and Riley Sager and I have had a very tumultuous relationship. Why am I saying it that way? Riley Sager doesn't know I exist, but I have a very rocky relationship with his books. Some I've absolutely loved, some I've really hated. I think it's the only author that I've given anything from, I think, a 4 to a 1 star to his books. So this one could work for the sky on the cover. It could work if I listened to that audiobook, which would be the audiobook prompt. That audiobook I have owned for more than a year, so this is potentially on the TBR. I might slot this in with something else just because I'm nervous about reading it, because it's just so hit or miss with me for this author. And I had said previously that I was kind of done reading Riley Sager's books because it had turned out with his more recent releases, they'd been more misses than hits. So yeah, we might read this one. This feels very summery. It's about a man who, when he was a child, his best friend and him, they were camping in his backyard, and his best friend went missing, and he returns back as an adult. His best friend might not actually be missing. So this does fit a lot of prompts for this readathon. It could be a great read for the readathon. I am hesitant about reading a book from Riley Sager again, but this definitely could work. Screams Summerween vibes. If not this one, I don't know, maybe we'll get creative and just pick up a book that's been on my TBR for more than a year. So yeah, as you can see, a lot of books behind me. I am not going to get to all of them throughout Summerween, but it's a great summer TBR, July, August TBR as well. So that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. Let me know, are you participating in Summerween, and what does your TBR look like? Subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any content from me. Stay safe, stay spooky, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye!